Well, we're here in the Millennium System Design showroom and talking with Mike Barry. I'm Eric Bodley with Future Ready Solutions. We're the importer of a fantastic line of connectivity products made by Kordz out of Australia. And Mike, you've started using these products. Kordz has focused on the best HDMI connectivity that you can get and geared towards integrators that are doing large-scale systems. And I think part of the way we started looking at Kordz, because you, like a lot of integrators, were using other brands, or I like to say our biggest competitor is wherever. And that's when you run out of cables and somebody says, well, where do you buy them? Well, wherever. You know, on the way to the job site, stop off and pick them up somewhere. And that leads to quality issues and reliability issues. And so Kordz are a little more expensive, and I think one of the things we talked about was looking at the price of our cables, and one of your techs brought up that they're like $5 or $10 more per cable than what you were currently using. And my question to you was, well, how many HDMI cables do you use on a project, and what did you come up with, Mike?
About 15, I think, on an average.
Okay, so 15, maybe 20 at the most.
Right.
And then we looked at the average size of your project, which are pretty good sized projects. So if you're into an $80,000 or $100,000 project, so my comment to you was, well, if you're using 20 more cables and they're $10 more a cable, that's a total of $200 more on a $100,000 installation. And you just stopped and smiled like you did then.
It's a little bit of a wake-up call.
Yeah. And so what other category can you put in the best possible product for only $200 more per project? And not install service calls, and never have to worry that those products are actually the root cause of any of the problems. And we all know HDMI cables have caused their share of problems.
That is a huge point to any integration company like my own, is how do you save money on the end of the project? That last 5-10% usually is filled with how do we correct issues. It's not with adding things or it's how do we correct issues, the last 10%. They're not going to sign off because this is broken. And we've discovered through you many years ago that it is the quality of the wires that make a big difference in there. So you're right. I think every AV company out there looks at percentage. Well, that's a big percentage more increase for that product, and not dollars. It's only $200 more for the product. And since we have been using them, the quality of the work, the effort from our team, and the callbacks are less. Effort of our team is less work to get it all looking good, and it works better. So.
Yeah, and Kordz makes what we call a line of rack optimized cables. And what that means is they're not just made in 1 meter, 2 meter, or 3 meter where you're coiling up and trying to hide excess wire. They're actually in 1 foot increments, 1 foot, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
right.
10. And that allows you to pick the right length of cable. And those cables are quad shielded. They're the only HDMI cables that I'm aware of that are quad shielded. And that's important in a rack because we have power supplies and fans and just noisy stuff in there.
A lot of stuff. So. And I will tell you, just very recently, I had a non-integration person tell us how beautiful the racks are once they're in there properly like that. So I think it makes a very big difference.
Well, and what is using a product like that what kind of reflection on that is to your company when customers look at your projects?
I think it's hard to present the quality of that product during the sale. So you just put it in there. And then at the end of the project, when you're showing them what you're doing, what the look is, I've literally had people say it's a shame we have to turn that rack around.
Yeah.
So as well as everything working properly. So
that's good.
Yep.
That's good. And then on the networking side, Kordz introduced their PRS and Pro Series network patch cable, super thin, color coding. And I think that helps a little bit in terms of identifying and troubleshooting, because part of cabling is also being serviceable.
It is.
So because you may have technician A, B, and C installing the project, and 6 months or a year later when routine service is needed, technicians D, E, and F could be going out there, and having a consistent method, I think, is really important.
And I think not enough people in my position put enough into that process. How to, network cable is a network cable. I'll grab a Cat5, Cat6 cable, I'll pop it up there, and it's done. It's ready. The color coding, the color coding makes a huge difference. The quality of it improves or takes away the lack of coming back to a job. So both of those things add up to a lot.
And then HDMI cables that are longer length. Now, Kordz introduced their new 8K HDMI certified cables that we can get out now to 20 meters in length and thin. And how does that play into what you guys do in your installations?
Well, a lot. We used to always have to use balons and video distribution projects going through Cat 5, Cat 5 Enhanced, Cat 6 wire with a very expensive product at the end of it. If when you take that expense away for the product we had to use for the video distribution and instead use a longer cable that has better connectivity on it, there's no reason not to use it.
Yeah.
It's a quality connection.
Well, Kordz and Future Ready appreciate your support, and I thank you for your time.
Always there. Thank you.
Mike.